Well, Sequoia's been totaled. Now what? So Halloween, I dropped off Phoenix to go trick-or-treating at his mom's house, and driving back down this one highway narrows down from like 3 lanes to 2 to 1. So I was driving down and it was a congested hour, just afternoon, a lot of people going out and about. Come up to this green light and everyone decides to slam their brakes on. The Sequoia being weighed down with drawers, with 35s, and not yet done the big brake kit. So I ended up rear-ending a Nissan Armada, I think it was Armada. Didn't do much damage to it, but I did take the hitch receiver right to the bumper there. So that's what did most of the damage. So for damage, the obvious is the grill. The crash didn't necessarily break it off of the Sequoia. I couldn't pop my hood until I ripped this off. So the hood latch was stuck and the fan was hitting the radiator and the shroud. So the only way to pop my hood was to do a field repair and rip off the grill. I ended up breaking the tabs, which are still on here. That was the only way to make the Sequoia drivable, was I had to do that. That way I can kind of figure out what was rubbing and making a loud, obnoxious screeching sound. What ended up happening was their hitch receiver punched through the little crash bar back there. So punched through the bumper, hit the crash bar, and that pushed every single mount backwards. The radiator's fine except the brackets holding it and the whole core support kind of bent backwards, which pushed the fan into the radiator, or pushed the radiator into the fan, I should say. So I won't know the full damage until I start taking stuff apart, but the grill and all the brackets are basically broken. You can see parts of the supports crumpled inwards. Hood is a little, ow. So I lost the filler pieces underneath the headlights. The headlights aren't really in there. So while this looks bad, a lot of it's cosmetic, which is fine by me. I was more worried about the mechanical side of things, if it ran fine or not. So I was able to get it home. I was able to basically pry all these mounts away enough and rip off the radiator fan shroud. I was able to take off pieces that were hitting the fan. So took that off, and it still sounded like, you know how when you put baseball cards on bike spokes or a soda can or something like that? It sounded like that when I was driving. But I was able to drive and not get it towed, which was nice because I was still 20 minutes from my house. And I am small town, so it was just a single lane highway the entire way, so it wasn't a huge deal. So now I was able to grab and pry all these brackets backwards, which essentially pulled the radiator forward, giving enough room just for the fan just to barely hit it. So I babied it on the way home that day, and the next day I took it out just to see how bad it actually was. I did notice right away it did have a loss of power. So it wasn't really a loss of power. It just sounded like it was going a lot faster than it was. And the only thing I could find that might cause that, comment below if you think this is it, is the transmission cooler. So the fins are pinched at the bottom, where it wasn't overheating, but I think restricting flow. And I'm assuming that would cause it to shift weird. That's the only thing mechanical I could find. Nothing else is wrong. Engine doesn't overheat. It runs great. I did buy already a trans cooler. I got to swap that out, do a drain and fill again on it, just to rule that out if that was it. 90% sure it's the trans cooler. It just needs to be replaced, and then it would go back to running fine. Now, talking numbers, I did get it quoted for a repair, and it started at $4,300. That was including the fenders, the hood. I think the hood they were saying would just be a repair, but then all new fenders, which then I'm like, well, if I bring it there, I have my snorkel and everything like that. They were quoting just stock items, so the grill, the headlights that I have. So they would just replace it with OEM equivalent stuff, which I didn't want. So before I even got home from the repair shop, I got a message from Copart, and they were texting me, asking me to set up an appointment time to pick up my total loss Sequoia. So that kind of answered the question of, is insurance going to total it out or not? So the one bad thing about Sequoias and why people like them is they're inexpensive to buy. So compared to a 4Runner or something like that, the Sequoia is your best bang for your buck. Problem is, any little bit of damage, and I would classify this as a little, it's not major. So it didn't rip off suspension or anything like that. I hit it square on and it just pushed this back, and that totals it out. So while it's not a big deal, you could fix it your own if you're capable, but it's a hassle. So going, getting salvage title, getting it inspected and everything like that, it could be a hassle. So that is one downside to Sequoias, but it's also an upside depending on how you look at it. So with the repair quoting at $4,300, my insurance valued the Sequoia at $6,000. That's basically stock. I did get them to bring the value up a little more just because parts on it. I was trying to see do I pull parts off? Do I put it on? What's going on? You know, what do I want to do? So with the value around $6,000, they did offer me a buyback for about $2,000. So question is, what am I to do? As you see it sitting here, I obviously did buy it back. Long-term project, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Do I turn into a rock crawler? Do I just fix it, get it roadworthy? What do I do? Well, Phoenix is turning 14 soon, which means he's gonna be driving in a year and a half, 2 years. And my goal was to always get a project when he was like 14, 15 that we could work on together and build for him to drive when he gets his license. The Sequoia is a great platform. So he always liked a 4Runner. He likes SUVs more than trucks. That was my only request, is he can't have a car out here in Colorado. Not gonna go down that road. And he's not gonna drive a Subaru. So I'm gonna end up doing the repairs on these. I think it's gonna be a lot cheaper than what was quoted. Some of the stuff I could fix and kind of make work. Others I could make new brackets, I could try straighten out, but I'm not gonna build it to the extent that it was. So I'll most likely be pulling the drawers out. I am gonna be doing the GX brake upgrade, so I will get a hold of Jim Smola on the forums if you've heard of him. He'll do all the machining on the GX brake calipers that allows it to work with here. Apparently it's a 9-day difference with stopping power. I was originally going to be doing that this winter, which sucks, but it is what it is. So can't do anything about it now. But if Phoenix is going to drive this thing, I am going to be doing those brake upgrades. Now it is a couple of years away from him driving it, but I at least want it as a second vehicle. I do like when I'm working on one project, I could have that car torn apart and have something else to drive. So kind of drives me crazy right now that I don't have a second vehicle to drive, even though I have 3. I have the 2 Tundras and the Sequoia. So I'm trying to watch my Tundra projects right now so that way I don't have to tear it down and not have a driving vehicle. I was waiting to do this video until I got the salvage title. So I went through all the insurance, did all that, went down to the DMV with my old title. It is now officially salvage title. I now have to get it roadworthy and inspected again from a Colorado State Patrol. So I had to get that inspected, stamp salvage in the door. I guess there's some instructions I got to do and still figure out for all that. But for the most part during winter, this thing's probably going to sit, unfortunately. I want to get the new Tundra camp ready, trail ready. That way when springtime comes, I have something to go camping in. My problem is I usually bury myself in too many projects and I don't get out on the trails enough. And as you can see from this channel, I have a lot of projects, not a lot of trail time, camping time. I'm trying to make a change. I have just a few projects I want to do during winter that are larger. More of those will be coming in upcoming videos. This is probably going to be wall art soon, maybe hang it in the barn somewhere. I don't know how much I could salvage of this bumper. Yeah, it is punched out, but I think I can make it work enough for inspection. I'd feel a lot better if this thing was a rebuilt salvage title and able to drive where I can take it to the store if I want to. So I might just do stuff to get that done before I do the major things. The rear bumper. Everyone's probably going to be asking about that. Let's go back there. So I've showed teasers of the rear bumper, just the design I was coming up with. I've redesigned this thing a bunch. I still want to do it. Problem I had was I want to make this a design for anybody that wants to download the DXF files, get it laser cut, send it out somewhere. So I was originally trying to design it for send, cut, send to pre-bin, pre-cut, just upload everything. They have, I want to say it's a 44-inch width or less on bins. And I wanted to build this thing to utilize bins to minimize welding, because especially something this big, if you have all the separate parts and pieces, without a jig, it could get warped, I guess, as you're welding and stuff like that. So I want to add bins just to make it a little easier on everybody. So I'm not affiliated with anybody in that regard. I've ordered from Sen Cut Sen. They do great. But there's a company out there, Oshkosh, out of Utah, I believe. They do a lot wider bins. Theirs is more weight-based. I was able to design it all as one piece on the back that bent over, and that would have just saved a lot of welding time. So I did redesign it once for that. I would do things that I just wasn't necessarily happy with on the design, and then I just got busy with other projects. So the bumper was kind of on hold. Now it's probably going to be on hold longer, obviously, because it's not roadworthy. Once I get the Tundra stuff done that I want to, I will come back to all this, and I do want to do the bumper. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on with the Sequoia. Sucks, it kind of derailed all my plans, but at least now I could tear it down like I wanted to. I wanted to redo the front end. I have Siberian bushings. I have the Total Chaos spindle gussets I was going to weld on. I want to do the brake upgrade. So this will allow me a chance to get this thing on jack stands and just go through it, make sure it's good, and eventually get it back out there. So I do want something capable that Phoenix can go take off, and if he wants to go side by side with me, it'll be a capable vehicle. Living out in kind of rural Colorado, they don't always plow all the roads out here. A lot of them are dirt roads, so that'll give him a capable vehicle. I mean, it's a great vehicle, and if I bought it back for $2,000, if I could fix it for under $1,000 or $1,000, it's a very capable $3,000 vehicle. You can't get a 4Runner for nearly that. So that's the plan. I just wanted to update you guys. I know you guys were looking forward to the bumper. I know I put it off for a long time, so I do apologize for that. That's about it. That's the update for this thing. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. Thanks for sticking around.